Am I on the right page?
202.
That's what page I'm on. Are we on big ideas?
Yes.
I'm on 202 of big ideas. Algebra.
Okay.
Okay. So which problems?
21.
All right.
Somebody was making a lot of noise. It's a small area in the house. No. Oh, he's on there. I want to know if there any way for you to believe this. You told us, wow, my dad is perfect. That's weird.
If I tell you this is true, what are the zeros?
Yes.
Meters?
Yeah.
Over here on the left, if x minus 2 equals 0, what
Right.
is x equal to?
2.
So, I tell you that x equals 2, what is the linear factor?
X minus 2.
Correct. With 21, they're giving you the 3 values of x. So what you have to come up with are the 3 linear factors. What are they?
X plus 5. X plus 1. Is that 1.2 or just 1? Negative 1.
That's 1 comma 2.
Okay, so x plus 1 then, and then x minus 2.
All right. Is there a lot of background noise?
Yes.
Is it on your end?
Probably.
Okay. I just want to make sure we didn't have a cross conversation. It sounds like somebody else is on the phone or talking, and that it's mixed up with our audio.
Yeah.
Okay. So those are our 3 linear factors. Now, how do we come up with the polynomial?
So it would be f of x.
Well, this is f of x. That is our polynomial. But they want it as a polynomial function. So you have to multiply it out.
Yeah.
That's all. That's the only thing they want different. Because, well, there's another reason. There's another aspect of this also that we'll deal with once we get to it. So how do you multiply these 3 things together?
So multiply the first 2 first, so x plus 5 and then x plus 1.
Okay, go ahead and do
that. X squared plus 5x plus x, and then plus 5.
Simplify that.
And then, so that is x to the third.
No, simplify that.
Can you get ready to
Oh, simplify. Oh.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Oh, x squared plus 6x plus 5.
It would have gone up by now.
Now multiply those 2 together.
So now it's x to the third minus 2x squared plus 6x.
This times that is what?
Oh, 6x squared.
Oh no, I'm gonna sit on the dishwasher. I still do dishes.
And then minus 12x.
Oh, I did. Oh.
John?
She was
What's it?
Plus 5x.
I didn't realize that
Minus
she was gotten at the school. She's like, should I get a big one or a small one? I just want to get it. And I'm like, oh, I'll just get a big one. Well,
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
I can't really hear it. So much background noise.
Minus 10.
Minus 10? Okay. Simplify that.
Okay. So x to the third
After I realized she told me.
plus 4x squared minus
The reason I kind of wrote it like that is it kind of makes it easy to do. Plus, I was out of room, so I didn't have any more room to write horizontally. But I put the x term under the other x term so you could combine them easily.
okay. So 7 minus 10.
Okay. Now, does that satisfy their request? They wanted a polynomial with rational coefficients and the given zeros.
Yeah.
And a leading coefficient of 1. Here's my leading coefficient of 1. And we're going to do that same process for every one of these problems. In other words, 22 is the same. It's going to do exactly the same. It's just going to be practicing your algebra.
Okay.
Let's try 23.
So okay.
First of all, what's the degree of 23?
Twice, and I asked, and I was going to. She's like,
Um,
so I said, and then she's like, well,
a 3. So cubic.
So they've given us 2 zeros. What's the third one?
The opposite 4 plus I, so 4 minus I.
Now, turn those into 3 linear factors.
So x plus 3, no, x minus 3. Sorry. And then x minus 4 minus I, or 4 plus I.
Really, just to be exact, we should put parentheses around that. The other one?
X minus 4 minus I.
so I went down.
And then when you remove those inside parentheses, you get this.
Yeah, one walk we've done. That open space and then that neighborhood up and across. I was going to, but
Now, which two should multiply together first?
The x minus 4 minus I and x minus 4 plus I.
Good. And you'll realize why. The i's should disappear.
Right.
Turn into a quadratic without imaginary numbers. The sooner we can get rid of these imaginary numbers, the better off we're going to be in this problem.
So x squared minus 4x minus xi.
Plus xi. We're going to minus.
Oh, plus, yeah, plus xi. Sorry. And then minus 4x plus 16 plus or minus 4i minus xi plus 4i minus I squared.
Notice that when you multiply a trinomial by a trinomial, you get 9 terms.
Yeah.
Now, let's simplify this. Let's see if all of our i's cancel. We got one of those. Is there anything else that looks like that? Yes. Right there. Those cancel.
Yeah.
I got a minus 4i. I got a plus 4i. That cancels. What does I squared equal?
1.
I squared is equal to
1.
I squared is equal to negative 1.
Oh, negative 1. So negative I squared is 1.
I'll do that next time.
Yes. Negative I squared is positive. So what do we have left?
So x squared minus 8x
It's bad in there.
plus
Actually, because I was like, well, it doesn't look too bad. Like, well, I've been clean for the last 2 days.
There's our answer.
It doesn't look too bad. I've been cleaning the last 2
That's
days.
just a product of that times that.
right, and then
Multiply it by x minus 3. Go ahead.
so that's x to the third minus 8x squared plus 17x minus 3x squared plus 24x
So, it's on there.
plus
Do you want that
minus
or do you want it on?
I don't know what 17x is.
51.
You could just cut it out.
Oh yeah, I'll cut it up in half.
Simplify. And notice it's easier to simplify when I write it like this. This time I didn't write it like this because I ran out of paper. I wrote it like this because it makes it easier to simplify.
Okay. So x to the third minus 11x squared plus
I'll let you cut that.
41x minus 51.
There's your answer. Again, all rational coefficients and a leading coefficient of 1. If they'd have said, give me a leading coefficient of 2, what's my answer? They said, give me a leading coefficient of 1. But what if they'd have said 2? The same function multiplied by 2. So your answer would be 2x cubed minus 22x squared plus 82x minus 102. That would have the same zeros as our function. It would have exactly the same zeros. But it's a different function.
So do you want lettuce?
It's not the same function. Just has the same zeros.
So it's serious. All I have is like it's super easy.
24 is the same thing. Want to do 24 or do you want to go to 25?
24.
Okay. So tell me my factor.
So x minus 2. X minus 5. And no.
That's one factor.
There's pickles here too.
So x minus 5 minus 1. Or I.
5 minus I. If 5 minus I is a factor, what's the other factor? What's the other imaginary factors? Imaginary factors always come in pairs.
Right. X minus 5 plus I.
Just give me the imaginary.
That laughs at the people's misery.
It actually is not that. If I said, what's the conjugate of this? First of all, I have to write it in proper form. It's minus, my apologies.
From the house.
It is 5 plus I. Is the other 0. So it turns out that you can dispense with these inner parentheses by just doing this. Just make sure that it's always x minus.
His watch. That was just this was on yesterday's list. Today's list was belt, toothbrush, computer, fruit.
Next step.
Yep. So multiply the x minus 5 minus I times x minus 5 plus I. So it is x squared minus 5x plus or minus. It's minus xi. Then minus 5x plus 25.
Use this one.
Here, he's gonna sit up here. Okay.
Minus 5i.
Got a minus 5 times a minus I.
Oh, so plus 5i then. And then
Please?
Oh, yeah?
That's pretty.
xi plus xi
Just don't know.
minus plus 5
I didn't hear.
minus 5i. And then minus I squared.
There wasn't much anyways.
Now, one thing to realize here is that all the terms with just I are going to cancel. And you can go through it in detail to make sure, but they always do. So I know that's going away, that's going away, that's going away, that's going away. Y squared does not, because that turns into a real number. So simplify this.
So it's just a plus 1. So x squared minus 10x plus 26.
Now multiply that by that.
So x to the third minus 10x squared plus 26x
GD2, that's his line.
minus 2x squared minus 20x
Negative 2,
plus
hold on. Negative 2 times negative 10x.
$20x.
Plus,
Oh, yeah.
not minus, plus, okay?
Yeah. And then plus 52.
I want you to do the sign first,
It's right here.
number second. You're doing it, but you're not getting the sign right. In other words, when you do the sign first, I want you to multiply the minus times the plus. Ignore the number. Minus times plus is what?
Is the minus.
Absolutely. That's the first thing I write. Now go back and figure out what the number is.
52.
That's the way to do it. There's no reason to get that sign wrong. The only reason I think you're getting it wrong is because you're trying to do the sign and the number, trying the sign and the number, trying to do that all at once. And so you just do the signs first to come up with whether it's a negative or a positive. And then do the numbers, independent of those signs. Now simplify.
Okay, so x to the third
And I was like, what?
minus 12x squared plus 46x minus 52.
When did you go back after school? I was probably back here already.
So let's see.
Not my
All right, so we've done two of them that are just alike, just different numbers. Try this one.
Okay.
Tell me my factors.
So x minus 4 and then x plus square root of 5
Wow.
and then x minus the square root of 5.
Irrational factors are a lot like complex factors. They come in pairs. You will not
Right.
find just one irrational factor. There's always two of them. So treat this just like I, and by that I mean multiply these two together first, and you'll see something happen that will make you glad you multiplied them together first.
Okay. So
So did you have like 160?
x squared
Or something like that.
Wow. Good.
minus
He was telling me something
square root of
about-
5x or x square root of 5.
I guess he has credits in his scout
Oh,
account
nice.
that he can use to like
Square
do
root
his
of
scout
5
shop.
x. Plus
I didn't know that was
square root of 5x
Postcards can do that too.
minus 5.
I'm not sure.
Whenever you're multiplying something by the conjugate, two middle terms always cancel.
Right.
So that was the reason we wanted to multiply terms 2 and 3 together first, is because we were left with a nice simple x squared minus 5, no more radical signs. Now, go ahead.
So x to the third minus 5x minus 4x squared plus
So sorry for that.
Plus what?
20.
Simplify.
So x to the third minus 4x squared
Yeah, I'm gonna take her to that big walk.
minus 5x plus 20.
Yeah, the only simplification was rearranging.
So it might be
Yeah.
dead.
Okay?
But I don't know, I mean, I've never gone during the week.
Let's see.
Good chance to go around.
There's kids.
26. You have to do all of them from 21 through 28.
Yes.
Okay?
I mean, that's the one we go to.
The one on 93.
26. Give me all the zeros.
64th Street.
Before we get to 93.
So the other one is 2 plus I.
Because there's a trail to the south table.
Still one more.
Ooh, negative 3I.
Now give me
On 93, there's
So
trail that goes.
x plus 3I.
from left to right.
Okay, so x minus 3I.
Only because I know which way you're going that way. When you go from right to left, you kind of confuse me. I'm not sure if you're starting with that first term or this term on the right.
Okay. So then the next one is x minus.
Yeah, let's put the three i's together because we're going to multiply these two together first because they're going to eliminate all the i's.
Okay.
Let's put these two together.
X minus 2 plus I. And then x minus 2 minus I.
Not even half.
Okay. So the first one are x squared
Remember, you can ignore the two middle terms. You don't even have to do the math. Just get
okay.
the last term. Last term comes from multiplying that by that.
Then minus 9I squared. 8.
No, it's plus 9.
Oh, plus
I squared is minus 1. So when you have minus,
so you multiply.
minus
Okay.
9, you get plus 9.
Okay.
And now this one's going to be a little harder because we have a trinomial times a trinomial.
Well, I took the doctor walking to the shopping. Well, for tonight's, we still haven't talked about how we're
So x squared
I did.
minus
Just not-
2x minus
And then I
xi
just,
Well, she has lunch.
minus plus 2x. No, it's minus.
No. Yeah, you're right. I was getting ahead of myself. Falling asleep there. Let's see, minus 2, so it's minus 2x.
It's fine.
Gone?
It's actually probably,
Plus 4.
I think the kids could watch it. But it's, as the girl that's in,
minus I squared.
Orange is the New
Nope,
Black.
that's not right. 2i.
Oh, yes, yes, yes.
And then
The difficulty, hold on. The difficulty on these trinomials is losing your place.
right.
You always go from left to right, and you complete the term before you go to the next term.
So
So we just did minus 2 times minus 2.
Did you look at the dog right
What's
after
the next term?
Minus 2i.
No, it's minus 2 times minus I.
Plus 2i.
So when I dropped these on off, it was 18 degrees. When I dropped these off, it was 16.
So then
Wow, it must have been colder because.
Oh no, was it 18 or 28?
then negative xi.
This times that.
Oh. So positive xi.
Everything. Yeah, you better go. Just be that fine.
And then
She's fine.
minus 2i. And then minus I squared.
Simplify.
So x squared
The car was by the track.
minus
Now it's by the building.
4x
Like that's good? No. That car is
Plus
just sitting there.
Good. You knew to ignore everything that had an I in it. It's going to cancel out. Okay?
Okay.
I'll do this one.
Yeah.
So that is x to the fourth
Yeah, what?
minus 4x to the third plus 5x squared minus 9x squared.
Mhm.
Oh,
No?
Oh, plus. Plus 9x squared.
he did ask for that.
And then minus
So maybe this weekend.
36x plus 45. So x to the fourth minus 4x to the third plus 14 x squared
And then right here, when I came back,
minus 36x
and when I look at it now,
plus 45.
which one is which one? Let's see.
They're the same. Sure. You walk the bottom as you go out and you just walk the top. And the door from the other. I said actually put it shut. It doesn't have shut.
26.
Yeah.
In other words, there were 4 imaginary solutions to that fourth degree polynomial. We ended up with a quartic, and it didn't have any real zero. It had only imaginary zero.
Right.
How many zeros does 27 have?
5.
How many zeros does 28 have?
5.
What's the next part of your homework?
This is it.
Okay, let's do 27 and 28.
Okay.
I was going to say, I'm pretty sure you know how to do these, but that's okay. Let's do it.
Okay.
Give me my linear factors for 27.
So x minus 2, then x minus 1 plus I, then x minus 1 minus I.
That's really the easiest way to do it, and dispense with those inside parentheses. Technically you should use the inside parentheses, but it gives you the same two numbers. So it's really kind of just a waste of time to do it.
Okay.
Same thing with the irrational number.
Okay, so then x minus 2 minus square root of 3, and then x minus 2 plus square root of 3.
Good. Now, obviously, we're going to do it in pairs. In other words, when I multiply that by that, because one is the conjugate of the other, I know that it gets rid of all of the imaginary numbers. And when I multiply that by that, because they're conjugates of one another, I know it gets rid of all the irrational numbers.
Okay.
So everything turns into a standard looking polynomial as long as I do the multiplication in the right order. If I try multiplying that by that first, you're going to have a can of worms.
Okay.
So by that I mean it won't simplify nearly as easily. I'm not sure I could do the whole thing on this page if I made that mistake. So let's make sure we multiply these in the right order.
Okay.
This time, ignore anything that's got an I in it except I squared. You can speed it up.
So x squared plus 1.
No, I mean, you still got to do it in the order. You still got to do that and then that.
Okay, so minus 1 or minus x.
The next one you can ignore because there's an I in it.
Okay, so then also another minus x, and then I squared plus I squared.
Hold on. Don't skip these steps. That's the next step right there.
So plus 1.
And now you can ignore that one because there's an I in it.
Then minus I squared.
You can ignore that one, you can ignore that one, and the only thing left is minus I squared, which is plus 1. So
Okay.
notice that I multiplied a trinomial by a trinomial, and I didn't write down any term that had an I in it. Because it would just be a wasted effort. They're all going to cancel one another out to produce that. Now, you can kind of do the same trick with this one. Anything that's got a radical sign in it, ignore. Hold on.
Okay.
Before you begin, let me erase what I think was throwing you out before. Okay, now, go.
Okay. So x squared minus 2x minus 2x plus 4. And then minus 3.
Perfect. See how much faster it is if you can ignore all those other terms. Simplify that.
X squared minus 4x plus 1.
Now multiply these two.
So x to the 4th minus 4x to the 3rd plus x squared minus 2x to the 3rd plus 8x squared.
Hold on a second. Let me back up here and do this the way I've been doing it, because I kind of like that. Minus 2x to the 3rd. Okay, keep going.
Plus 8x squared.
You line up the same type variable under one another. Keep going.
So then plus
Hold on. We're doing this times that.
minus 2x.
Keep going.
Then plus 2x
Squared.
squared. Yeah.
Keep going.
Then minus 8x plus 2.
Simplify.
So negative, or x to the 4th minus 6x to the 3rd plus 11x squared.
Huh?
Minus 12x
10.
or yeah, 10x plus 2.
Plus what?
2.
Okay. There's your answer. All right. We got time to do the next one. Give me the factors.
So
28.
x minus 3. Then x minus 4 plus 2i. And then x minus 4 minus 2i. Then x minus 1 plus square root of 7. And then x minus 1 minus square root of 7.
What if that said -1 right there? Now, what would the last two factors be?
X plus 1 plus square root of 7. And then x plus 1 minus square root of 7.
Okay, good. In other words, it isn't always x minus.
Right.
But every one of these has positive numbers as the real number or the rational number. So it turned out to be x minus in each case. Okay?
Okay.
Do those two.
So x squared minus 4x minus 2xi.
Ignore anything that's going to produce an I only. Go to the next step, or go to the next term.
So then it's minus 4x. And then plus 16.
Ignore, ignore, ignore. Only one term left.
Minus 4i squared, which is
Simplify.
plus 4. So x squared minus 8x plus 20.
Okay, now do the same thing with these fourth and fifth terms. Same thing. Ignore anything that has a radical 7 in it, except when you get radical 7 squared. Then it turns into 7.
Okay. So x squared.
I hope this shortcut isn't going to confuse you. I don't think it is. I think you get the concept.
Yeah. So, yeah, x squared minus x. Yeah, minus x. And then skip minus x. And then plus 1. And then
Usually at this point, there's 3 straight things you skip. You skip that one, you skip that one, and you skip that one.
Yeah. So then simplified.
Hold on.
Or, yeah. So
got this one.
minus 6.
Minus 7. Square root of 7 times square root of 7 is 7.
Yeah.
And minus times a plus is minus. So I heard what you said and I couldn't help myself but write it. Oh, I see. And you were already combining the two numbers to get minus 6. Okay, so what do you get? You get x squared minus 2x minus 6, right?
Right.
All right. Now, I think we left out a step on the previous problem. I think we forgot to multiply everything by this linear factor over here. Because I don't remember us coming up with a 5/5 degree polynomial. We should have. In other words, if you're looking at 5 solutions, you should be coming up with a 5th degree polynomial. I think on the previous problem, we multiplied these two together, and we forgot to end up multiplying that solution by x minus 2. So we won't make that mistake this time.
Okay.
However, that begs the question of what should I multiply together first?
So the last two, the ones that we just did.
I personally prefer the last two. That gives you a 4-term polynomial, and I find it easier to multiply a 2 by 4 than a 4 by 2. Or actually, if I multiplied this linear by this, I'm going to end up with 4 terms, and then I have to multiply 4 terms times 3 terms. So it's going to be easier if I multiply 3 terms by 3 terms, come up with a 4-term polynomial, which I can then multiply by a 2-term polynomial. So most of these problems you run into, it's almost always slightly more advantageous to multiply the last 2 terms together first. Begin.
So x to the 4th minus 2x to the third minus 6x squared minus 8x squared.
This time I don't have room underneath. I'm going to write it out horizontally.
It's
Can't ignore any of the terms when you're doing this.
Oh, it's 8x.
Ignore terms is when you have a radical sign or an I.
Okay. Then 16 plus 16x squared plus 48x, and then plus 20x squared minus 40x minus 120.
And problems are getting so ridiculously long that I don't have enough paper. I can't scroll down when I take a snapshot here. So you will have to write tiny. So simplify that 9-term polynomial.
So x to the fourth minus 10x to the third.
I only see a 2x to the third. Did I miss one?
Yes.
Yeah, that should be 8x to the third, huh? Okay, so minus 10x to the third.
And then plus 30x squared plus 8x minus 120.
Okay. Okay, now we have to multiply that by x minus 3. Go ahead.
So x to the fifth.
This is almost torture, isn't it?
Yeah.
But it's good. It's good practice for you.
Yeah.
But it really does force you to just do math for a solid hour.
Yeah.
I probably never talked so little.
So then minus 10x to the fourth plus 30x to the third plus 8x squared minus 120x. And then negative 3x to the fourth, or minus, yeah. And then minus or plus 30x to the third minus 60x squared.
Hold on. 3 times 30 is 90.
Oh, yeah, 90. And then minus 24x plus 360.
Finally, the 5th degree polynomial that we come up with is
X to the 5th minus 13x to the 4th plus 60x to the 3rd minus 82x squared minus 144x plus 360.
you can really see the advantage of doing it this way, can't you?
Yeah,
Yeah, because doing it when you do it all horizontally, it's really easy to miss one.
yeah,
Whereas if you lay up the powers of x underneath one another, you can't really miss it, and that it's by far the easiest way not to make mistakes is by doing that if you have room. So,
right.
all right.
Okay.
Session, you may have to go rest up after that. That was a lot of gymnastics.
Yeah,
But that's good. That's every now and then you need to do that. And that's good. That's great practice for you, actually.
right. Yeah.
All right. Demetrius, I will talk to you next time.
All right. Yep, you too.